My older sister mishandled my mother's inheritance and wanted to take part in the house that my mom gave me. Now she's livid because I am selling the house to my boyfriend, and she won't have a share. I have 6 siblings. Our mom recently passed in November from stage 4 cancer. I had a really great relationship with my mom. We would spend time together, and my 4 children all loved her. I am the youngest of all my siblings. My older siblings didn't prioritize much time with my mom until the last few months when she couldn't do much for herself anymore. I currently live with my boyfriend and our 4 children in a 3-bedroom apartment. It's a nice apartment, but, of course, it's not ideal for our large family. Over the summer, while my mom was still very coherent, she signed a transfer on death of her house to me for myself, my boyfriend, and our children to move into. She did the transfer so I wouldn't have to buy the house as we would not be able to afford a loan for her house. And her house only had less than a year left until it was completely paid off, so we would be able to afford her payments that way. All of my other siblings own their own homes and have plenty of room in their homes for their individual families. I didn't ask my other siblings if they were okay with this, but I didn't see it as their decision or whether they had a say considering it's our mom's house, and she had final say anyway. And like I said, all of my siblings own their own homes anyway. Once my mom passed, she had some medical bills that needed taken care of, so it seemed as though we would need to sell the house to take care of them. After looking into it more, my boyfriend said he would buy the house at just enough to cover medical bills rather than what it's worth, considering we cannot afford what it's worth. Plus, my mom had planned on us just moving in and not doing any sort of loan anyway. She had a cash inheritance, which he left my oldest sister, Melanie, to split equally among all of my siblings. Since my mom has passed, we have asked Melanie how much is left in the inheritance, as it would be split 7 ways, and she would always kind of dodge the question. She would say she hasn't counted it yet or she's unsure. My mom also had some coins that were worth some money. She had 4 coins worth about $3,200 and a 5th coin worth about $1,200. I only found out about these coins from my other sister Rochelle, because she told me Melanie thought about giving a coin worth $3,200 to herself, Rochelle, my brother Nick, and myself. The coin is worth less to another hand-picked sibling, and then just never telling the last 2 siblings about the coins at all. That really upset me. I understand the coins gained value over time, and that's why they didn't want to pawn them for cash to split equally. But that is really unfair, and considering there are not 7 coins, I believe the fairest situation would be to pawn them for cash so everyone could be involved. I suggested that and then never heard anything else about the coins after that. And then one day last week when I had Rochelle and my niece over for dinner, she dropped a gold coin out of her purse and quickly put it back. I never said anything, but I couldn't believe they decided to kick me out of that inheritance because I stuck up for the 3 siblings that were going to be slighted. Well, flash to a couple days ago, my boyfriend got approved for the loan. I told Melanie about this to keep her in the loop, and her response shocked me. She told me she did not feel comfortable selling the house to my boyfriend. I didn't understand, because selling the house to my boyfriend was just a way for us to keep the house so that my mom's medical bills would get paid. And my mom's wishes were for my family to move into the house. After I got off the phone with Melanie, I called Rochelle to see how she felt, but she couldn't talk right away. Once I was able to talk to Rochelle, it was very clear Melanie had gotten to her first and manipulated the situation. So I texted the group chat with my siblings. Essentially, they all want to sell the house at full value to a stranger so they can receive an inheritance of cash from the house selling. Melanie had very obviously made them believe that my mom only transferred the house into my name so I could sell it and split the money with all of my siblings. That wasn't the truth, and I tried telling them that our mom did not do that, but Melanie had manipulated the situation. For context, Melanie is the oldest, and all of our siblings can be pretty easily manipulated in a situation when it comes to Melanie. It sounds terrible, but it's true. I can see right through it and try to say my side, but they are all on Melanie's side. They all want cash from the house, but I want to live in it like my mom had intended. Like I said, my mom transferred the house into my name. So I'm going through with selling the house to my boyfriend to pay my mom's medical bills so us and our 4 children can live there. My siblings feel like I have scammed them out of an inheritance, but I feel like I found a way to get the medical bills paid so that my family can live there, which is what my mom intended when she was here. Update: my oldest sister, Melanie, had made me believe that the debt needed to be paid from the house, not the cash estate. I contacted an estate attorney and ended up speaking with the attorney who was directly handling my mom's medical debts. He told me that there was no need to sell the house right now, that my family could move into it with no worry of paying the medical debt until the future if I ever decided to sell it. So that's what we are going to do. If we ever decide to sell it, we will split the sale of the house after her medical debts are paid, and, of course, subtract any money we put into it going forward from their portion. I agree that keeping the house's deed in my name is a wise decision so that I will always have that security with my children if something ever happens between myself and my partner. As far as the coins go, I didn't mention them because I was upset I wasn't getting a portion. I understand getting the house is a big deal. I mentioned what was happening with the coins to explain why I don't feel I can trust Melanie and why I feel like she is not being honest about the money in the estate, which she wasn't. There is more money than just the coins that she is not being honest about. The deceptiveness is what hurts me. I feel like I am very open and honest with my family and would never try to deceive them. I would rather all conversations, especially with my family, hold integrity. Once I had felt settled and secure with talking to the lawyer, I texted my sibling group chat to let them know what was going on, that the house will stay in my name. Melanie has been manipulating the situation, and when she thought I was selling it to my boyfriend, I knew she would tell all my other siblings that the problem is not that I was keeping the house, but that it would no longer be in my name. I can tell she is very angry that she can no longer spin the story for her narrative, but this is what my mom had intended in the first place. For myself and my children to have somewhere to live, and she always knew my boyfriend was in our package deal. Melanie still seems mad, but I don't see the problem anymore. Update 2. Since I have told Melanie that we plan on keeping the house, she has made it her mission to do everything in her power to bury me. Melanie is my big sister by 15 years, so I've always trusted what she said and done. Naively, I guess. Like I said before, Melanie was my mom's power of attorney. So she made sure my mom's bills got paid toward the end as that was her responsibility. Once I told Melanie we would be keeping the house, she would tell me she didn't have my mom's account information and withheld all the information I needed to pay her bills. I made all the phone calls, and all utilities were easily transferred into my name. However, going to the bank, of course, was a little more difficult. I can't even make a payment without knowing her account number. Melanie has kept all of my mom's paperwork and refuses to give me that information. So I am currently in the process of waiting for the bank to email me a form to fill out to become a person on her account who can make payments. Then once that hopefully gets accepted, I can apply for the assumption of her account. I am hoping all of this goes over well with no bumps. Melanie is very angry with me. I told her I didn't feel like she was being fair in the way she was dividing the estate and that she continued to change the story to fit her narrative for that day or who she was talking to. I told all of my siblings they could go through my mom's house if they wanted anything of hers before we donate. Everybody has had a key to my mom's house because we would all go over and help her with anything she needed. Melanie then went through the house to take all of the valuables, collectibles, and anything that could be sold for decent money so she could sell it herself and pocket it all. Mind you, I'm not talking about a couple of small trinkets. She took 4 large glass/real wood curio cabinets, 20 collectible cookie jars, and at least 100 collectible angels. And she did all of this in one day as soon as she found out I would be keeping the house. So I asked my boyfriend to change the locks, and he did. I'm so glad he did because I found out that they had been talking about taking the fridge and the stove. Since then, my boyfriend believes that they have been coming over daily to check the trash. They are crazy. Once she found out the locks had been changed, she truly tried to isolate me from my siblings and my dad. They are really the only family I have left. Unfortunately, they are all very easily manipulated. Truthfully, I don't really want to try to reconcile my relationship with them if they are so easily manipulated into cutting me out of their lives. And, yes, she manipulated my dad as well. I lost my mom only a month and a half ago, and now in the snap of a finger, I've lost everyone else. It's been very hard to deal with, but I don't feel I'm in the wrong here. I also contacted the lawyer who drew up the transfer on death so that I could make an appointment with her to finalize it now that my mom has passed. I also asked her if we could discuss my mom's estate. She then told me that no estate had been filed. I also contacted the probate court in our county to get a hold of my mom's will, and they also told me no will had been documented with them. All of that was Melanie's responsibility. It isn't right. I will definitely come back with an update at the end of January/beginning of February as I have an appointment with a lawyer to discuss this next week.